Now we're going to take a look at some of the features, options, and preferences available within your classroom. We're going to do just kind of a high-level look right now. I'm going to point out a couple of interest, and then we'll get into some of these more later in some of the part 2 and 3 videos that you'll have access to. So for now, let's do a quick review of our menus. We have File. This is where we can save our whiteboard files. You can also print a participant list and a whiteboard list. You can print the whiteboards from there. The preferences, let's take a look at this one. There's actually quite a few options here. You can scroll through some of these. I wouldn't recommend making changes unless you really understand what you're changing on these, but a couple that you want to be aware of are some camera setting options, some microphone setting options, some speakers if you have students who are talking, and then this one in particular, you have some general notifications. You have some audibles that play, that make a noise when certain things happen. When someone raises their hand, you get an alarm, and then you can test by clicking to hear what that sounds like. There are a lot of others that you can choose, but again, I would be very careful about these because it can be very distracting. So there's a recording in progress when you start and stop the recording, and there's an alarm for the timer. These default events with the audibles are usually pretty good. We have some visual notifications, and these are very specific to the person. So if you want to see, you want to get that visual little pop-up that someone has been moved to or from a breakout room, you can keep that enabled. Whenever you grant or are granted moderator privileges, you get a visible notification there. A participant joined that tells you every time somebody joins, and then when the timer expires, you get a visible notice that the timer has expired. There's also a profile that is specific to the computer that you're on. So if you use only one computer for your classes, then it will be there every time you log in. If you use multiple computers, you'll have to set up your profile on each one. So once it's set up, then you'll see that your image shows up over here in the participant window, so students are able to see that, which is kind of nice. They like being able to see that. And there are some whiteboard options. If you insert pages, do you want it to go before, after, or replace? What's the typical monitor resolution that you want things to load? And there is a way to browse for the OpenOffice application. All right, I think those are the only things that you should probably be taking a look at this point. You can always restore the defaults if you make some changes, can't remember, need to reset. So those are the preferences. Then we have the view. You can show the sidebar, whiteboard application sharing. This just switches you from tab to tab, or you can restore the layout here. And then you have a lot of different tools here. Application sharing options, audio options, breakout rooms, chat. Sending an announcement will basically push something out that pops up for everyone if you need to get their attention for some reason. Graphing calculator. The moderator tools, polling. We'll talk about a lot of these in later videos. So currently, only moderator profiles are enabled. This is so students can be able to see your profile, but you can't and they can't see profiles for each other because this is not something that you can manage very well. So we encourage you to keep that one disabled. All right, you can erase a recording, but you want to be careful about that. And there's some other options, the timer, some video settings, and quite a few whiteboard options that we'll explore later on. All right, again, we have some window options here and some help options across the top. Now, anywhere you see this little option menu, it will be specific to the block that it is located in. So this option menu is specific to the audio and video window and will specifically give you things that you can do with this particular block. These are available from the menu up above, but this is a shortcut to be able to let you know what can I do with these right here in this area. So there are several of those option menus for you to take a look at. Some are smaller than others, but you can explore those to see what options are available to you within each of the blocks. And finally, I want to make sure that you see a couple of features that are available to help students with interaction. And I really encourage you and the students to use these often. We have the emotion icons, and this will just flash for a few seconds. You just click on it once, it'll flash for a few seconds beside your name, and then it disappears. I encourage students to use these to let me know if they're confused, if they agree. So these are nice since you're not looking at the student's face to get that interaction and have them give you feedback. The away indicator, you click on this if you or the student have to step away for a moment during break or during class, and then you click again to put yourself back. The raise hand icon, actually when students click on this, you will hear an audible ding, so you want to be careful because if they turn it on and off like this, you'll hear ding, 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 which is not a fun thing to hear. So you can use it though to help you order students to allow them to volunteer for things or to let you know that they would like to respond, and then they click to put their hand down. You can also, through the individual participant option menu, lower the student's hand if it's up and you need to actually put it down. They don't have to. And then we have some polling options. The default polling is a yes, no, so that if they click on this, a green check appears beside their name, and we'll talk a lot more about polling and options within there in some later videos. All right, so that is a very quick overview of all of the features, options, and preferences that you can explore within your online classroom.